Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Ball Chess Show. I'm your host, Roland, and with me, the international master, Luis Midardi. How are you doing, Luis?
I'm doing very well. I'm very happy to be here with you. And
Thank you
you?
so
How are you?
much. Very well. Thank you for asking. We always like to have you on our call to guide us and our viewers in more interesting topics and to discover more improvement hacks when it comes to chess. The topic of today is a chess secret to rapid improvement, which is the 80-20 principle. This, for some viewers, they might be familiar with it because it also exists in marketing, in economics, in so many other fields, even in management. So what is the 80-20 principle? Could you tell us a little bit about it and how can we actually apply it in chess?
Yeah, sure. Well, basically the 80-20 principle is that you have to ask yourself where the 80% of the results come from, and usually there are things that we do that are much more important than the others. So usually in chess, and also as you said in many other areas, the 80% the 80% of improvement we make is thanks to the 20% of work we do. So our advice is going to be for our spectators that really want to improve in chess to focus on that 20%, although as you can guess, it might be not the most pleasant. I'll make an alert, like a spoiler alert. It's not playing bullet the whole day, or it's not
Absolutely.
nothing super funny that you don't have to pay attention, you don't have to make an effort, but is the part of the training regime that you have to pay more attention to, because it's what actually brings the results.
True. The Pareto Principle is after the Italian sociologist and economist Pareto. And as you said, the 80% of the outcomes come from the 20% of the causes. And in this video, we will focus on the 20% of the causes. So what is uh, this 20% percentage that we can focus on to give us the 80% of the results? It's a very interesting topic, and I'm sure we can learn a lot from it, not only in the chess context, but also in many other areas in life. But speaking of chess, so the main point, as you said, Master Luis, is to focus on key areas. And these key areas is how we need to channel our energy and our daily training routine too. If we are just, for example, playing games or just studying openings all day long, this might not be the most efficient or effective way to train in chess. So for this reason, this is why we have invited you to the call to tell us exactly what are these 20% of activities that would give us the maximum improvement in chess. So we will be focusing on this in this video, and then we will play a quick game together to see if we can connect the pieces in a practical match for all the viewers to see how these 20% of the tasks that they need to focus on, that it can really help them to improve so much in chess. So the first thing we have on our list that you have prepared for us, Luis, is tactics. Tactics is the heart of chess. Tell us a little bit about it and why you think tactics is ranked number one here in this area.
Well, of course, it depends a bit on the level we are talking about, but I think for most of our viewers, even for like masters and like professionals, most of the games are decided by tactics. So this tendency that I can find today in the chess war, or maybe I should say in the market, of studying a lot of openings, buying, I know, new courses and more courses, trying to understand very deep concepts where actually you're blundering pieces in one move. So, or in two moves, and your games have been decided for this like more than 90% of the time. It's very easy to understand. You have to improve that. And the way to improve tactical skills is basically by solving puzzles. You have to solve a lot of puzzles. If possible, you can like choose what kind of tactics you are missing. You can try to understand in what positions you are missing the tactics. Okay, like you can be a bit more specific, but in general, solving tactics and improving your calculation techniques will be the better thing, well, the best thing, the most important thing to improve your results, except if you are already a big professional, then okay, you can start focusing on openings. But for all our viewers, do more tactics. I mean, and do more tactics and understand how to calculate, because sometimes it's not just about doing tactics. Sometimes it's about understanding their mistakes and analyzing. Well, we'll talk about it a bit later, but analyzing their games, because maybe they're missing a lot of tactics because they don't take their opponent's resources into consideration, for example. And it's not like they don't know patterns, or it's the opposite. They just miss tactics because they don't know many patterns. So, well, they miss it because, okay, for chess masters, it's much easier to see the tactics because we have seen the typical motifs. The first idea comes to my mind is the Greek gift. When you play bishop takes h7 check and you are trying to attack, okay, we have seen this idea, I know,
Absolutely.
1,000, 2,000 times. I don't know the number, but okay, I lost the count like years ago. So try to understand the patterns, try to improve your pattern recognition, and by analyzing your games, try to understand what tactics you are missing. I think that would be the probably the most important thing. I don't know what you think about, or if you would like to add something.
Absolutely. That was a great advice, Master Luis. As we always recommend our members and viewers, if their lifestyle allows, 20 minutes per day can be a very good start if they can get into the habit of solving tactics. 20 minutes is not too much. Maybe they can do it when they are drinking their coffee in the morning, or maybe throughout their lunch break if they are employees, or even if they are in school, they can do it when they get back home before they start studying. 20 minutes per day is perfectly manageable as a start, and once they grow later on in their chess career, they can even look forward to to scale up this time even further. They can use any online free resources like ballchess.com, lichess.org. There's so many other websites online that can help them to solve puzzles. And as you have pointed out, Master Luis, pattern recognition and calculation is also something they can get in time. It takes time to do this, but the more they do it, the more this pattern recognition will start forming in their brains, and this would greatly help them to apply these tactics without thinking actively about them. We also have a free chess tactics crash course on YouTube on our Ball Chess channel. For the people who are interested to learn more, Master Luis joined me some weeks back, and we created a free chess tactics course for beginners. It covers more than 60 puzzles, and we go over details on all the tactical motives that are in place. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and watch this playlist. It's really amazing. Master Luis put so much work into it to make it live for us. Um, Moving on from tactics, this is something beginners also jump on, and you have pointed out this thing several times in the past videos as well. Is openings, and openings principles are even more important than memorizing opening lines. Could you please, Master Luis, tell us a little bit about why beginners should focus on the principles and understanding the key lines of these openings instead of actually memorizing the openings move by move?
Well, there are a few things here, but first of all, usually when even grandmasters teach openings, focusing move by move stuff, and I understand the point. First of all, it's easier,
Of
And
course.
second of all, the master is used to study this way. The issue is when you are, let's say, not as strong yet, you cannot guess your opponent's moves. Like your opponents won't be playing the best moves in the position, so they can play basically every move. Then it doesn't make sense to memorize. What you have to do is to understand the pawn structures, to understand the typical plans, and different ways to try to implement those plans when, well, one plan is a bit better than the other, these kind of things, but don't try to memorize concrete lines. That's, well, the, the thing number one. Now, also, very, very important, I would say, like weekly discussions with my students about it. Stop changing your openings. Okay, if you're playing an opening that you have realized is really bad, okay, you might change it. But the problem is, people think the problem is the opening, and to be honest, they are the problem in general. Like, no, I'm not winning enough with the Sicilian, I don't understand it. Okay, like, how much time have you tried the Sicilian? How much work have you put into it? No, well, I have playing the Sicilian for 2 weeks and I don't fully understand it. Of course, I mean, I have playing it my whole life and I don't fully understand it. But if you keep changing your openings, okay, as the the upside of this, at least you might have a bit better calls over the different openings. But the truth is, if you want to maximize your results, you just have to know one opening with white, one opening with black, maybe two openings with black. It depends on what you play because, okay, white can play different moves at the beginning. But stop changing your openings, focus on understanding them, and yes, well, and we'll talk about it a bit later, but analyze your games because if every time you play a game, you analyze it, just if you, I was gonna say in the opening, you know one move more, but more than knowing one move, you understand where you made the mistake and you don't make that mistake again. In a few months, you will be a monster. I mean, unstoppable. So, yeah, try to understand the opening principles, realize your opponents won't play the best moves, so there is no point in memorizing a lot of moves. And of course, avoid these Instagram, TikTok, even YouTube videos where win with the, I know, Italian opening in 5 moves. Okay,
Right.
that's a lie. Or maybe you win one game, but you are making a
Y-
mistake, you are not learning, you are not following the opening principles. Skip it. Just if the title starts with win with whatever opening in 5 moves, you can skip it. You don't care about it.
Yeah,
Maybe one
just a
day you will fall for that
clickbait,
trap.
trying
Exactly.
to get more viewers to the videos. We're trying to provide you with the actual value of how it actually works. Amazing, Luis. This was really very nice tips and advices here, and we don't really see these often because as we see online, many people are just trying to push on their openings courses. They just want to sell
Yeah.
openings and they want to tell you that this opening actually works. The fact is, as if you are focusing on openings principles, controlling the center, developing your pieces, make sure your king is safe. If you focus on these principles and you play the same lines by iterating and checking what are your mistakes every time, that will help you improve more. The objective of this lesson is, as what Master Luis told us, we need to focus on the 20% of the activities that would give us the maximum results. And these 20% include getting the opening principles correct, focusing on few lines, not memorizing openings move by move, but rather trying to get the whole idea behind each opening. What is really why this opening have been developed in the first place, why this is actually a good sensible play. Most openings focus on the same principles: piece activity, controlling the center, getting more space. So these principles repeat themselves over and over again, and if you focus on them, you'll start memorizing less and understanding more. That's actually the key point of what Master Luis have been telling us today, um, and regarding opening principles. Moving on from openings to end games, this is also a topic that is really important and crucial. End games are even more important than openings. You cannot end the game without reaching the end game phase. So this is something really important. Apart from checkmate patterns, what do you think, Master Luis, beginners needs to focus on when it comes to end game studies?
Well, once again, I would focus in understanding more than memorizing. Even the
Absolutely.
most basic endgames, okay, I think they have to know, like king and pawn against king, rook and pawn against rook, this kind of stuff, like very basic ones. Well, they are useful, of course, but even, well, some theoretical endgames, like I'm thinking about some advanced examples. For example, there are some endgames where with rook and two pawns you cannot win against a rook, so you might learn how to defend it. Okay, I have studied them, but I don't think they are very useful because honestly, even if you study them, later when you play it, sometimes you lose it. Or like I have seen people that study those endgames and finally they lose them. So again, I would focus on understanding more than memorizing and okay, basic endgame knowledge. King and pawn against king, rook and pawn against rook. And I think just very few more that they need, but basically understanding, okay, understanding a bit of rook endgames. I know like when is more important to push your pawns than
Right.
defend your pawns. Why is so important to have an active rook and an active king? I mean, this kind of stuff, but not memorizing. Again, just trying to understand. The problem is also that when people memorize things, they feel they have learned something. However, when they understand something, or if they just look at, let's say, one instructive rook endgame, but like they don't feel they are gonna play the exact same position, it's a bit more abstract what you have learned, but actually that works in the long term because well later you will take better decisions. So don't focus on memorizing to feel yes. For example, there is a book. By the way, it's a good book. I mean, it's not a the 100 games you must know. So you memorize one of these endgames and you feel okay. I have learned one endgame today. However, you analyze one game for strong play from for strong players, and it's not that easy. What I mean to understand what you have learned because okay, but actually you have improved probably your pattern recognition. In this case, you have understood where to active the rook or how to do it. But yes, don't focus on memorizing concrete lines, just a very few endgames that you have to know. And again, try to think what happens more often. In this case, rook endgames and pawn endgames at lower levels happen much more often. Also, something I have observed is pawn endgames are more important at lower levels than at higher levels because usually when I play against a person of my strength, he's gonna avoid the pawn endgame if he realizes he's losing. So, however, at lower levels, many people go into pawn endgames that are losing because they don't understand why they are losing. So, pawn endgames and rook endgames. That would be my advice because they are the most common ones and not many theoretical endgames. Just I think the couple of endgames I have already mentioned. However, try to understand a lot.
Absolutely, Luis. This is really important, as you said, to understand the concept rather than just memorizing specific positions of pieces and how to move them. And rock end games, king end games, and pawn end games can also be a good start with basic checkmates. This can be really helpful for beginners to get started with things
Well,
and key concepts as well, as you said, like
of course, I forgot to mention it because by accident I guess it that was obvious or okay. Of course, mating like you have to know how to checkmate with two queens, with queen and rook, with queen, with yes. Okay, these basic
absolutely
checkmates
yes.
you have to know them just in case. Maybe I kind of jumped a bit, but of course, knowing the basic checkmates are very important. I
Are
mean
really
that's
crucial.
out of question. Yeah, yeah.
Amazing. That's really good. And you did mention in the video as well, and you kept repeating it, how important it is for players to analyze their own games. This is like a gold mine when they play a game instead of just whether they have won or not. Instead of jumping to a new game or doing something else, they should actually dedicate time to study this game to see where they have what they have missed, what were their
Of
mistakes.
course.
You mentioned this tip on several occasions, not only on this video, on many other videos as well, and this is really priceless. If there is one secret technique to the 80-20 principle in chess, this is it. Just analyze your games, even without studying anything. If you keep on iterating and studying your own games, and fixing your mistakes, you are automatically improving in chess without even knowing it. Of course,
For sure.
you will know it when you start winning more games than losing, but it's
Yeah, but the thing is, when you analyze your games, first of all, you're analyzing situations that actually happen in your games. Because maybe you might not be sure, okay, is the, I know, like, um, queen against rook endgame happening in my games? I don't know, so I'll study it. But if you analyze your games, you're analyzing the part of the game, or you're analyzing the specific positions that usually happen. So you will analyze the opening, so you will understand that opening better. And for example, imagine for some reason you are like just a beginner and you are not reaching the end game because you are blundering pieces before that, or you are reaching end games that are like, okay, a rook and a bishop down. Okay, you don't have to study those end games that you are like just lost. I mean. So you will focus on what you need because it's what you are playing. And here, my advice would be also, although they have to do it by their own, in this part of the training, sometimes a coach really helps, but this is also for very strong players. It's difficult for me to be objective and realize, okay, yeah, in my games I fail a lot by, I already gave this example, but missing my opponent's moves because, okay, for me it's natural to do it, or I don't have somebody to compare. So in this regard, a coach is usually helpful because he sees your games with a different perspective. That being said, just analyzing, let's say you play only chess, for example, you analyze every game at the end, you understand the mistakes you made, but not only the mistakes Stockfish claims you made, because sometimes you make a move thinking it's the best, but you have no idea why it's the best, or these kind of things. So yeah, try to spend time without using Stockfish, and after that using Stockfish to check your thoughts. And yeah, analyzing your games, as you said, is the most important thing in my opinion by far. Analyzing your games and doing tactics every day and learning new patterns and being sharp on this regard are the by far two main things here when trying to improve at chess.
amazing. Yes, this is really great advice, Master Luis. It's really important for people to take that into account, and of course to focus on consistency over quantity. We're talking here about when you are organizing your study schedule for chess. You need to know that it's not about how much material you can cover in one day and then you skip for 1 week, 2 weeks, maybe two months to get back to the game again. The idea is to develop a schedule for you that you can follow consistently that suits your lifestyle. Some people are busy working the whole day. They might only get 20 minutes or 30 minutes per day. Some people might be able to afford to spend more in chess, depending on their lifestyle and obligations. But above all, to improve rapidly in chess without spending hours and hours every day, you need to focus on consistency. You need to develop a schedule that you can commit to on a daily basis that fits your lifestyle. There is no cookie cutter here that we can just tell you, for example, 20 minutes is enough, 50 minutes is enough. It really depends on how much time you can allocate to chess. But overall, if you do the same schedule repeatedly, you will be able to get more results than just trying to get this kind of spikes of energy on one day where you sit down and you study for hours at chess, then you get burnt out the next day and you can't see the chessboard anymore. This is why this is extremely important, and it's nice that we have it here mentioned, uh, is to focus on consistency. Short focus training is really what makes it stick out. And of course, keep in mind that if you can keep the process enjoyable, this is also great. So if you have a chess coach, this can make it more enjoyable. If you are playing with the friends or studying with the friends chess, if you have friends that like to play chess, this can also help them and help you to enjoy the game more while actually progressing and improving at it. Do you have anything
Yes.
else to add, Luis, on this point, on the consistency part?
Well, that is much better to do, let's say, 1 week, 20 minutes a day than one day, let's say, 2 hours and a half. I mean, as you said, you have to be consistent, you have to be patient, and don't set like impossible goals. What I mean is, don't say, yes, for now on I'll study 3 hours a day and I'll do like these 10 things every day, and when after 3 days you fail it, you kind of feel guilty, so you don't do any chess in 1 week or you don't do any training. Stop saying, yes, tomorrow I'll start, on Monday I'll start. Okay, you start right now, you do a bit of tactics, take it easy, analyze your games, um, be aware that you will need time, but with work and focusing on the right areas, improvement is guaranteed. I mean, but you will need a bit of time.
Absolutely. Everything it takes time in life. Even though we are focusing on the 20% that produces the 80% of the results, but we still
Of course.
need to still give lots of time to this 20%. So as we said, create a study schedule for yourself. We also have study schedules made by Master Louise that are available for our members. If you like to join us at polchess.com, these study plans are available. But as we said before, create something that you can follow depending on your lifestyle and goals. And as what Luis just told us a moment ago, make sure your goals are reasonable and logical. Don't just make a goal that is just totally fictional. Like for example, reaching the rating of 2000s in a couple of months while you are still at 1500. There is a timeline to things, and everything takes time, and skills takes time, pattern recognition take time. Make sure you enjoy the process. If you're enjoying the process, you will be able to get there in the best possible way. So the key takeaways that we have studied today are basically what we need to focus on to get the maximum results, tactics, understanding the opening principles, and learning endgames are the three top skills that you can learn. Consistency over quantity is key, so make sure you are doing things on a daily basis rather than just having a spikes of energy and you do chess only once in a while. This will not help you to improve in chess. Analyzing your games is also extremely important. We have mentioned this multiple times before. If you focus on these areas, like how Master Luis told us today, you will improve rapidly in chess, much faster than the rest, because you are focusing on the parts that produces the maximum results. The fastest improvement possible is when you have consistency in applying these key principles that we have just talked about in this call. Um, it's good to remind the viewers that we have a full academy that covers everything you need, from openings, tactics, end games, and much more. We also have over 1,900 curated puzzles prepared by the international master Luis Midarde, with the study plans, everything you need basically to elevate your game to the next level. If you are interested, you can check ballchess.com for more details on this full academy. And as for now, to make sure we are connecting all the principles, we are going to play a quick game with the Master Luis, where we will annotate this game and explain these principles in a live game, so that they can somehow connect basic skills that we have shared in this video in a live demonstration. Are you ready, Master Luis, to beat me yet another time?
Well, I'm ready to try it, at least. Let's see how it goes.
Great. Let's do it. Very well. So here we are at the chessboard. I'll be playing a game against Master Luis. This game will be educational. We will showcase some of the principles that we have talked about in the 80-20 presentation that we did. We will explain our lines of logic. The objective of this game is to explain the concept rather than trying actually to win or trying to make the most effective play. Although Luis will make the most effective play, but I'm trying here to I will annotate everything in order to make sure the video is as educational as possible. Master Luis will help me as well to make it really entertaining. Luis will take the white pieces. I am at your signal, Master Luis.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
I'll start.
So e4 is very important. It's one of the most popular moves. It gives a space for the queen and the bishop to develop. It controls the center. It's a very popular move. I'm going to go with c6. The idea with c6 is to prepare d5. This is also a very common opening principle in chess. Either you need to challenge the center directly, or you kind of prepare a move that would prepare a second pawn movement to challenge the center, like what I'm doing right now. I push the second pawn forward, trying to gain more space and challenge the center as well. My bishop is out. His bishop is also can also move. He's developing active pieces with like how he moved the knight. Also eyeing on the center. It's very good opening principles we are explaining here. How the pawns are trying to control centralized pieces, and how black is trying as well to challenge for space and for control. So in this case, I will capture this pawn. White captures back, and then I will move my bishop to f5. The idea is I want to play e6, and I don't want my bishop to be locked at c8. So I'll push my bishop first to an active square before I actually try to continue my movement. White here moved to g3, attacking my bishop. I can push the pawn to e6, I believe. Or I can, alternatively, I can just move back the bishop and just avoid this exchange between the bishop and the knight. And then later on, I might be looking forward to continue with my development. I believe here Master Luis is he wants to challenge again my bishop by moving it one square ahead. I don't know if that's correct. Is this correct, Luis? You want to
Yes.
attack my bishop? That's the plan.
Of course.
Okay. So I'm going to give a square for my bishop to escape, so that I don't run into a bishop trap here along these lines. And as you can see, what Luis is trying to do here, he's trying to delay my development. He doesn't want me to castle kingside and put my king to safety really quickly and develop the knights. He managed instantly, when he saw that I'm pushing the bishop forward, he challenged my bishop. He pushed the pawn to delay my development, because my plan is simple: move to e6, move the bishop, develop the knights to sensible squares. And as what he is doing right now, he developed his knight. Is only the bishop is left before he can cancel kingside. I would like to do also that. I will continue with my plan though by moving to e6. That will allow my bishop to develop to sensible squares, and hopefully the knight also can be can be developed in the later moves before I can cancel kingside. This is also good. So the knight here is attacking my bishop, and the idea here is some opening principles as well, that if I just leave this unattended, the knight will happily capture this bishop. I will have to capture with the pawn, and then the king will not be very, very safe anymore. Even when I cancel kingside, there will still be some openings, and I'll have here a pawn island. This is also an endgame principle. This can become more visible in endgames when you have pawn islands. That means the pawns cannot protect each other, and you have to put pieces to protect these pawns. Is that correct, Luis? Am I good at explaining?
Yes. Of course, you are doing well.
Very well. If by any chance I'm not explaining well, feel free to interrupt me and tell me, no, this is
Sure.
your line is incorrect. But it's good to know that I'm explaining things in the right way. So in this case, I prefer to move my bishop to safety to avoid actually this exchange. I have been avoiding your knights for quite some time.
I see.
I would like to keep my pawn here, and the plan is, of course, to castle kingside somehow. If you are giving me time, but you have not been giving me much of time to castle kingside.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep developing. So far, all of this is supposed to be fine for both. I have played this position many times with white against grandmasters. So far you have played perfectly, so no worries.
Oh, that's great to know.
I'll keep developing.
That's good.
In this case, I'll go with the bishop, as I don't see a way to keep annoying you with my knights. I'll switch to other pieces.
Very well, very well. Now, the idea here, if I understand correctly this line, is if I leave my bishop here without doing anything, the point being that I will need to capture with the rook later on, and that will prevent me from castle kingside. So I would prefer to capture this bishop instead of just leaving it on the h7 square. Possibly if I can push the knight is also an option, but I did not want my knight to end up at h7. That's very passive. Now I will continue with my original plan. I will move my bishop to d6. That will allow me to leave squares for my king later on for castle kingside. It will also a bit challenge the center. I might consider taking the knight at some point. Maybe not directly. Depending on what Master Luis would reply here. And
I'm not sure here. Actually, this is an interesting move. Which, I'm fine with my position, but I am not sure how to meet it. I'm not completely sure what is the best way to deal with this, because I'm trying to evaluate. Well, when you take my knight, if I take your bishop, you take my queen.
I
take
will
yours.
take your queen. You bet.
Yeah, I was trying to think about that endgame, how it is, like if it's good for me, if it's not that clear. This kind of thing.
Usually players that are way much lower rated, like in my case, I'm just a normal club player, nothing special. We like to exchange queens with a higher rated players. Not to mention you are an international master, because that would help us simplify the position. And the more the position is simplified, the more chances we would get to actually, achieve a draw possibly, or even survive in the game later on. So this is a common tactics, but when players are almost on the same level, sometimes getting to the end game quickly might not be the most promising way, depending if they are pushing for a win or not. In this case, I'm pushing for a draw, trying to see if I can get a draw here. So the queen is out of the way, and so my plan of taking the knight is not going to get me much. In fact, if we get a capture from the queen, I don't like the pressure that we're having here at the moment. So I will continue with my original idea of developing the knight. I'll move the knight forward, and that will help me to castle kingside. The bishop joined the game now, and we have this knight is very well protected. And let's see what we can do here. Can we join with the knight as well? If he captures my knight, I can capture back with the queen, or I can capture his bishop, in fact. That can be a sensible approach. Let's see if I would be able to solve this little tactic here. I think it should be holdable, whether the knight captures or not. We are trying to fight over the center, so we're still in the opening phase, trying to fight over the center here. It's nothing special, but now we are here a little bit. We are doing some tactics at the moment to see if we can. If this exchange is actually valid or not. Based
Yeah,
on my
I
calculation, it should be drawish if we.
I think you have missed something honestly, and I'm surprised because as you played the London with white, I didn't expect you to miss this. I can win, or I might be able to win a pawn here by taking the pawn on f7 with my knight, attacking your queen and the bishop at the same time. And well, if you take my knight, I take the bishop on d6, and you have lost a pawn. This is what I was talking earlier about knowing patterns. I don't have to like make an effort to see knight takes f7. I have seen this trick, I know, like many times, like hundreds of times maybe.
A discovered attack with a fork followed by
Yes.
that's very educational.
And actually, I was thinking because when we see a move that is good, we have to double check. And in this case, I think white is better after knight takes f7, but you have bishop before check, and okay, it's a bit more complicated, although I'm quite sure white is better there. There is a move that I feel it might be stronger, and I was calculating it and trying to make it work. I'll go for the sharper one. Well, even sharper than knight takes f7. But I might make kind of a mistake. But I also like knight f5 here. And again, it's about patterns. When you have seen certain ideas many times, it's much easier to come up with ideas such as knight f5 here, what is maybe at first a bit difficult to understand, but well, I can say that if you take my knight, you might be in trouble. I mean, the knight on f5 with the pawn. So
True.
I know you have already realized it, but yeah, be a bit careful about it.
That is very troublesome, and also the discovered attack is also something to deal with, and the queen is also adding lots of pressure here. So what to do here? How can I hold this position? Let's see what are the immediate threat. The immediate threat that I have right now is this capture of the pawn. This is the immediate threat, and if I capture the knight, that is not going to get me anywhere. Due to the tactics that we have. So what could be an option here? Let's see if I have any idea that I can go with. This would be a fork, and if I leave the pawn as it is without really doing anything, what would be the problem? I might run into some kind of piece sacrifice here. I might run into a piece sacrifice. I'm thinking just merely of castle kingside here and just not really doing much about the position. One other idea that because this, but again the sacrifice of the bishop here and the queen that it's also eyeing on this file is not very comfortable. So I need to figure something out here and see how I'm supposed to go about things. I'm not finding a good movement though. That was a very good move. I didn't see the night coming. That is very, very good. The position is fairly complicated, and we can get into lots of lines here. Very well. So I'm going to play just the bishop back in this case. I will get rid of this discovered attack, and I'll protect the pawn at the same time. That's the only idea I came up with. I couldn't manage to come up with anything else. And then I will. The next step would be I will move my knight away. That should be. It's a bit passive, but at least I managed to avoid certain complications. Was my bishop move a valid one?
I think it was the best one, because even if, I'm not saying it's the case, but even if you might be objectively lost or like doing badly here, I have to find some concrete and accurate sequence. If you, for example, would allow me to take the bishop, okay, that would be an easy win for me. I mean. So, well, what I'm gonna do is, for now, I'll
But
give this tip.
it's very passive for black like this. Like I can't now castle kingside. My pieces are all pushed back, and it's.
No, I mean, honestly, your position is bad. I won't lie. I mean, but at least with the same material, things can still happen. If you would have gave me the bishop, okay, I could win that position against Magnus Carlsen easily. Well, or I hope so, at least, like with an extra piece. However, this is less clear. I mean,
Right.
actually, I kind of regret not having taken a pawn earlier when I could. I still feel my position is very good, but maybe I didn't take the most practical decision.
Yeah, I mean, but you overcomplicated the position, which is a very good thing for usually when position is complicated, beginners don't know what to do anymore, and they just they start blundering left and right. I have two movements here for the king, and I'm not entirely sure which one would be the best, or if it even matters which one is better. I will go forward though for now, and I'm aware that I've lost the pawn here at b7.
Okay, but I mean, if I take on b7, you can take my bishop on f4. You attack my queen. At least for now, I would be a piece down, so I'll play a kind of calmer move with bishop d3. I keep my knight defended. Your king is in the center. Maybe later I take the pawn. And yeah, also a good thing for me is it's your turn, so you are the one who has to deal with with the complications. And I hope you make some mistake and you help me. I mean, I hope, okay, I want you to play well, but when we are playing against each other, okay, like I don't mind if my opponent makes a mistake.
A mistake, yeah, of course. I will make many mistakes, you bet. Don't worry at all about that. I'm thinking about how if I can improve the activity of my pieces. I'm just calculating, see if there is like any problems by pushing my queen to b6. I think it should be passable.
Yeah.
I don't see any immediate threats. Castle queen side is very interesting here. I can't capture anything as well. And I couldn't castle king side in this match. So that was not...
Okay. I didn't expect that, honestly. I think it might be dangerous for you, as you are opening the position a bit with your king in the center, but I don't see exactly how to win.
The idea is that I need to, I mean, being passive like this, I will eventually lose. So maybe if I can open a bit the position and try to get some more activity, and maybe I can like push these pawns forward at some point. Not sure if I
Uh,
can do that.
you won't push the big pawn, I can promise you.
Yeah, that that is good. I saw it a while back, but I
Sure, sure. I
still
know it, I know
wanted
it.
to have a bit of more active position. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, I was thinking about this and I wasn't sure.
One thing I had in mind is also good for the viewers is I wanted to activate more pieces. I saw that your king here with the pawns on, they don't have much of protection. If I can get rid of these two pawns, then my rook can actually like join in with the fight later on at the sacrifice of this pawn. So it's kind of decision where I want to activate pieces in exchange of sacrificing material. This is a very bad idea against a master like you, but it's still something I would like to try somehow. Now this one I did see somewhere along the lines this, but I don't see. So my knight cannot capture because of the discovered attack. I see. I will need to capture this way. That's the only way around. It would be nice to castle kingside if the bishop was not here, but that's not the case. I will need now to figure something out. Let's go with the knight initially and see if I can. I will need to play much quicker right now, so I might not be able to explain all the moves because of. Oh, it was very kind to give me more minutes. Let's just give more minutes so that we are able to explain, the moves somehow. The idea of my knight movement is that, of course, I need to attack the rook because this pawn cannot capture the rook due to the queen is eyeing on my king. But at the same time, I need to leave this seventh rank open for my queen to slide over, especially that he has a rook battery here. So this can be dangerous, and the rocks cannot be connected right now because my king is stuck in the center thanks to the start of the game. How my king managed to move before castle kingside. So not connecting the rock is a problem, especially when the white has like two rocks lining up in such a fashion. So I will need to find out a way on how to keep this going. Now I do also need to eye out for this rock sacrifice. This might seem weird, but
Oh,
it
you
can
realize it? I mean, I was hoping for you to overlook
to, to,
that
to
little idea I had.
yeah, it's I have this is when you have like bunch of batteries here. This can also be this is a very dangerous rock sacrifice because the queen will jump in. The bishop is here. My queen is very passive. It cannot join in effectively due to this bishop, and the rock is also joining in. My two rocks are too far, so this is very dangerous movement. I will need to somehow find a way uh, to solve this problem. I don't see an immediate way to go about it, but what I will try to do is and moving my king, which was also an idea, is not valid in this position because when the bishop moves, I will get a discovered attack. So my king is really stuck in the center here, and I don't really see a clear way to go about things. The only sensible approach that I'm thinking of right now is to, of course, this phone is hanging. I'm aware of that, but I'm not sure if this is the best time to to start
Yeah.
capturing phones, just for people who are checking this video and saying like, there's a nice phone here. I'm going to walk into a discovered attack. I don't really see much of good movements for a black here. It's really under pressure, and Luis managed successfully to dilute my attack on the queen side in a very artistic way by keeping the attack going in a continuous fashion without being able to have any counter attack or any chances. Even giving up the pawn did not work because he always came up with very interesting ideas. Rock sacrifices, keeping the pressure, disconnecting my rocks. All these are extremely good middle game principles, and only the best players out there can actually exploit these techniques in a live game. They neutralize the opponent, and yet they can really get into the position that they have wanted. This is such an interesting movement. If I capture the bishop, he will capture my queen, and if I capture the rook with a check, and then I capture the bishop, I will be losing somehow because this is not a. I will be losing on material because the queen is worth more than the rook and the bishop. So what could be an option here? And pushing the knight in front of my queen is also not an option because the rook can simply capture back, exactly exploiting this. And the bishop here, although it may seem really unprotected, the discovered attack was very powerful. So I will need to find a way to go about things, and I cannot just exchange in this position. So I will just for now I'll slide the queen and see if I can do anything here. Now of course my position is completely falling here, and I cannot really do anything anymore. Either I will need to fall for this or I need to fall for something else. So it was not a very much holdable position. Once I lose a piece, it's not really even against the players of similar rating, it's not possible to keep on holding. What can I do in this position? I will need to move the rook, otherwise my rook will be gone. The knight is gone now, and I might be able to try a counter attack just for the sake of presentation, but I don't think I can do much in this case. This pawn is again is up for grab, but I'm going to, and we also have this movement of the rook to the last rank. It can also come interesting later on. I'm going to move forward with my pawn and just try to hold the position somehow. But the moment against higher rated players, not to mention masters, once you lose a piece, the match is pretty much over, because even against simplification, you can't really do much. But here we can show some nice end game techniques on how Luis can convert this position into a winning one. It's also educational for the viewers to see how, when you are up a piece, how you can convert this position and keep adding the pressure later on the king. My idea with the pawn, for everyone who is watching, Luis might have saw it, is I need somehow to generate some kind of counter attack on the queen side. Maybe the rook can join in later on in some kind of lines, and not sure if I have time for this or not. Possibly I don't really have time for this. I have only one square for my king, so it's no brainer. I have to move it. There's no point to think about it. And here I am getting attacked continuously. I'm not able to get a chance for any counter attack. Let's see what to do here in this position. Is there any sensible movement, sensible square I can go to? I don't see anything. And of course, if I slide to the last rank, this rook will slide and will fork my king and my queen. So this is also not possible. I don't really see much of ways to go about things. I will need to. I will try to prolong this attack as much as possible. I will need to find a way to go about things. Now, of course, we do have a nice checkmate here. That was really, really nice. It felt like I gave up the match, but my position was falling anyway. Whether
Yeah.
whether you give me this checkmate or not, I saw it when I was doing it, but I was like, it just maybe you will opt up for a different movement, and then you would not. But I mean, you would see this checkmate pattern anyway. If I saw it, you would see it. That was really, really a nice match. It was very educational. If we go to the analysis board and we request a computer analysis, you will see that white has been dominating the entire match. Surprisingly, Stockfish said that I did only one mistake. I felt like I did millions of mistakes. I'm not so sure why it feels like I did so much. So Master Luis will walk us through this game, and he will tell us his thought process, and will be able to connect the video of the 80-20 principles with this game and how we have applied everything. So at the beginning, we developed we had a sensible opening. This is the Caro-Kann defense, the classical variation we used in this video. If you like to learn more about the Caro-Kann defense, we have also a training on that in our academy. If you like to check it up at bolchess.com. So all these, Master Luis, are standard movements. It's all.
Yeah, this is main theory. I mean, many games have been played here. It's very normal. I mean, all of this is quite well known. I mean,
Very well, very well. Stockfish is recommending the knight rather than the bishop. Do you think the bishop here was starting to?
I don't think bishop d6 is very bad, but I do know like knight d7 is supposed to be the normal move, and I have met knight d7 a few times. But yes, bishop d6 here, I was not sure. Actually, okay, queen e2 seems normal to me. I don't want to take the queens. At the same time, I keep an eye on the pawn on e6 for later, maybe queen h5. As we saw in the game, the e file might be a problem for you. But this is what I was talking about earlier. For example, here when I go queen e2, I am already seeing ideas as knight f5 and some discoveries, like what happened in the game. And this is just a matter of like having seen those ideas many times and pattern recognition. Bishop 4 actually was directed against knight bd7, and after you play knight bd7, I'm not sure if it seems I chose a stronger move according to the computer. Still, I don't know what is more practical, if playing knight xf7 or knight f5, but yes, I mean, this seemed unpleasant for you. The point is, if I take the pawn on f7 instead of playing knight f5 one move earlier, you have bishop b4 check, what bothered me a bit.
Right.
So I think
right.
what I played here was fine. I mean, I attacked you, I disturbed you. I mean, and now okay, whatever you play, I'll go knight d6 and not let you castle, or at least that was my idea. You take what is fine. Yeah, I take. Here maybe king f8 was a bit better, but both are similar. I mean, your king hasn't castled in either case, and
True.
your position is
The
not
chance for
pleasant to
castling,
play.
according to Stockfish, was here. This is the chance for castling.
Yeah, sure.
This was it.
Sure.
But I somehow I delayed it by mistake, and then the game from here, I was just trying to be under pressure. Stockfish is more leaning towards a5 but I did not see what's the point of this check. Stockfish has a point probably. What's the point of this check really? Like we get to blocked, and then what's really the advantage? Oh, we slide the queen, and then we offer a queen exchange. Okay, and if the queen moves, oh, the queen doesn't need to move. He can just capture back and destroy the pawn structure. Okay, well, it's difficult to see from far ahead.
Yeah.
I did not expect this. So this is also was a mistake. Inaccuracy, although it feels like the slider is already. I think one reason why Stockfish is considering this as inaccuracy and not a mistake is because maybe there is some kind of sense to my idea of sacrificing the pawn and having some piece activity. So he did not really give me like a full red mark or a blunder mark. He gave me just an inaccuracy mark. But realistically, it's not a good move. But it's not, according to him, might not be a very not a blunder move. So here, what were the plan? I needed to go out. Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I pretty much didn't consider it. Like, okay, king f6 seems super dangerous for you.
Yeah, this is
I know.
super dangerous. But the game is collapsing anyway. Even with them with plus 8 points,
Yeah.
it's over anyway. So here we are getting. You are just exercising the pressure and continuing with things. And at this point, when this queen came in the game as well, followed by things, I thought about actually capturing the rook, just as simple as that. But the position is not holdable either way. I I had this in mind, but it gets me, and just there is no point in doing anything anymore. So I was like, okay, let's just try to to trick
Yeah.
to trick Luis a bit, see if he can find out. But this was really nice match. It's very educational. What are your thoughts, Luis, on it? Was it like we did showcase many lessons here as well?
Yeah, I think maybe the punishment for your mistakes were a bit too high, but basically you should have focused on castling maybe earlier. But yeah, like it's not like you made a lot of inaccuracies. It's just I know I feel I played well and you were a bit unlucky maybe, but yeah, I know like your position turned it out to be bad very quick. And actually, you defended better than it looks because okay, it was kind of a quick game, but um, in a few moments, I thought you were gonna collapse already and you were gonna blunder something, and you were still defending. So I think you played well actually, or you didn't play that bad at least. But yeah, things turned out well for me.
That was really a great match, Luis. It was very educational, and we have showcased many principles as well. As you said, the point here is to showcase how White was able to keep on the pressure going, interfere with the blacks plan, and this was all shown in this game. We have also analyzed the game later on after the match, which is something all players should do. I thank you so much for your time today, for being with us, for helping us as well, uh, getting applying that 80-20 principle in chess.
For our viewers, keep the good work. Try to follow the Pareto Principle. Think what are the things that help you the most to improve at chess, and remember the training should be active and you should be solving positions and not only reading or not only well watching or just like following games. Is better if you try to solve them yourself. Yeah, hope you have enjoyed the video. If you like the content, remember in our website you have, well, much more content. A lot of it is just for free. Some of them is, well, like being part of our academy is well, like it's paid, but it's still like very cheap if you ask me. And yeah, I hope you liked it. I hope to see you soon and have a good week.
Thank you so much, Master Luis. I wish you all the best. See you soon.
Thank you.